tablespoon of palm sugar to give it a nice sweetness, because the soy sauce and the oyster sauce are quite strong. Now I've got some cognac. We all have a little bit of cognac lying around. If you haven't got any cognac, some port or some sherry will do just fine. And it's a nice thick sauce. You'll find that this will penetrate the meat really, really quickly. Now to add something else, a little bit of garlic. All around the world, everyone eats garlic, so the microplane will make it nice and fine like this. And all I need to do with the back of the spoon, just scrape that off and mix it through. I can smell this marinade. It's really strong, so it's not going to take very long to penetrate the meat. All I need to do is pop my steaks in, just like that, and then turn them around. And every few minutes or so, I'll just keep turning it around. Now the beauty of a marinade like this, it actually becomes a great sauce to baste the steak as it's cooking. All I need to do now is pop this in the fridge and let it marinate for at least an hour. Overnight would be fantastic, but an hour is just enough. And that'll give me enough time to make my dragon's breath sauce. Now you're probably thinking, Richo, that's not a great way to speak about your mother-in-law. Well, this sauce has got nothing to do with her. It's not about breath, it's about fire and heat. I've got a lot of chilies that are going to go into this sauce, so I'll pop this in the fridge and I'll get cracking. It's the age-old debate, grass-fed beef versus grain-fed beef. Well, there's no right answer. Me, I like the flavour of grass-fed beef. To me, it's a little earthier, and I think a more beefy flavour. But my best mate, he prefers grain-fed beef. To him, it's a little bit sweeter, a little softer, and sometimes a little bit more tender. Ultimately, it's up to you. But whichever way you go, Australian beef is always good. Just buy from a good butcher and be prepared to pay a little extra for good quality. Okay, to make this sauce, there's a few simple ingredients, and I'll start with a clove of garlic. I'll just cut it really, really fine like this, because what I'm going to do is pound all these ingredients together to make a paste, and then I'll thin it out to make a nice sauce straight into my mortar and pestle like this. You could use a blender if you want, but I reckon a mortar and pestle gives it a lot more flavour. There we go. This is the shallot, nice and finely diced. You could use an onion if you want, but I reckon a shallot's just as good. Now I've got a long red chilli here, a little bullet chilli here, or a scud, and a habanero. And we know a habanero is really hot. So I'll just cut it like this into quarters, and then my chilli the same thing into quarters, and then my long red chilli I'll slice up like this. Of course I'm going to leave all the seeds in here because I want as much heat as possible. There we go. Oh, I can feel this is hot, straight into my mortar and pestle like that. All those seeds, because I want as much heat as I possibly can. Now the lemongrass, I've got a nice, young, slender, thin, tender piece of lemongrass here. If you've got the old, crusty lemongrass, just use the heart of it. But I'll just slice this nice and fine like this. When I pound this up, instead of being fibrous like the older lemongrass is, this will be nice and sweet and just fall apart and give it a beautiful Asian flavour straight in there like that. And then some coriander. I'll just chop it nice and rough like this and throw it straight in. Now all I need to do is add a nice amount of salt. Put that in there like that. The salt's like an abrasive. It'll help to grind it all down as I pound it and make a nice paste. Once I've finished grinding it all down, I'll put a squeeze of lemon juice in there, some fish sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and I'll have my dragon's breath sauce.